Hi, my name is Bharti and I'm here to discuss assignment 2, Big Data and Technologies. Part 0 is data cleaning, that is data curation, and I did this using Jupyter notebooks and I wrote the code for cleaning the data. And here is my code for cleaning the data, the tweet file that is provided by the lecturer. Assignment. After this is the code, and after cleaning this, I got another file, the clean one, that is 10k tweets underscore nc.json. After doing part 0, I will go to part 1 of my code. This is for the initial graph, which is provided in the assignment guidelines, which is 30%. Now here, to create a base graph model, I used JSON by importing the data set into JSON data into Neo4j, and then created 4 codes and run it and got the graph as expected in the guidelines. Now I'll move on to Neo4j and I'll show you how I did the codes. So these are the 6 codes. This one, and for this I need to call a POC, periodic iterate, using my 10k tweet underscore nc.json file, which is cleaned, and then moving on. So it takes a lot of time to run on Neo4j. That's why I already run them once. And these are the codes. See, and this is 6, and this is when I run the DB schema visualization. I get my graph, and then after completing this, let's move on to part 2. Now, after running all these, we move on to part 2 code. Now, before moving to the solution, let's understand the problems. So initial queries, so these are the cipher statements in Neo4j. So problem 1 is to find the top 5 most used sources, app or site to post to share a tweet. For each source, return number of posts and number of users that created tweets from that source. This is the example it's given and provided in the guidelines. And let's move on to the code. Yeah, that's the code for the solution of problem 1, and it's showing the table that sources are Twitter on iPhone, web client, Twitter on Android, TweetDeck, Twitter on iPad. And these are the number of posts and these are the number of users. Let's move on to problem number 2. Problem number 2 states that find top 3 users that have the highest number of tweets with the retweet count greater than 50. For each of these users, show the number of popular tweets they have and the top 2 hashtag presence in all their tweets in order to occurrence. This is the sample given in the assignment guidelines, and let's move on to the Neo4j. So these are the top 3 posts. Hemo, Luke, and Nick. And number of posts is 19, 11, 14. And top hashtags are iHeart Awards, Best Fan Army, iHeart Awards. Moving on to solution 3. Before that, let's read out problem number 3. That find the shortest path connecting the users, Akin Sinwin, and the hashtag Imoseg, using any relationship type except using submit picture to path from Neo4j browser graph view, and the length of this path in follow format is 13. Okay, let's go here, and when I run this code, I get my graph. That's the end of part 2, and let's move on to part 3. Now moving on to part 3. It says refactoring the model. So to refactor the model, to simplify the process of responding to domain-related queries for links, We recommend adding a new element to database structure called the domain node. This specialized node will represent the domain part of the URLs like realestate.com or linkedin.com. Propose implementing a relationship known as belong to, which ties link nodes to the appropriate domain nodes to build connection between links, their related domains, by transversing from domain node to its associated link. And the alternative approaches are like domain as link node properties and using the labels for domains. Let's move on to B part. So the B part problem part of part 3 says to write a cipher statement to implement the changes to the model. This should process existing data model to create new nodes and relationship from the data you already have. Let's run this code in Neo4j. That's done. And then let's move on to part C. Part C says with cipher query, which uses most links from LinkedIn, that is links from the domain. Let's see the result, what we find for this code. See, and this meetings, events, us, until the number of posts is 1. All right. Then goes for problem D. The modifications that follow to improve the data modeling handling of various domains connected with the organizations and categorizing linkages by industry. Introduce the organization node to represent on business, organization nodes, description, and create domain nodes to represent individual domains related to organization. Create a owned by relationship between organization and domain nodes. This association implicates that a company owns one or more domains. Then comes the relationship. Creator belongs to industry link between the organization industry nodes. The association denotes an organization's industry affinity. Continue to connect links to their appropriate domain using the belong to relationship between link nodes and domain nodes. By applying these extensions, you may build a more complete and adaptable data model that allows to organize the query data linked to organization, domains, and sector more efficiently. This improved model serves a wide range of use cases, including finding relationship connected with a specific domain, understanding an organization's industry, and storing and analyzing data more effectively. So that's about part D. And then after the link diagram that has been found is this. The links, it belongs to domain, which is owned by organization and which belongs to the industry. Thank you for listening. Thank you.